Well, that's what we got on the bearings. They're cooled down now. That hole, I got some flashing in there. This one, if I hadn't poured short, would have turned out great. I'm a 1/4 inch less thick on this one than I am this one. So I got to recast that again. Got one more of these we got to get made, and got to start it the right way though. We got several different molds we're going to make in this video. Got to make 5 of these. I've already got 4 made, so we only got 1 left. Thundering pretty good outside. Dollar's safe and secure in the building. I don't know where Charlie's at. I hope he's safe at home, at his other home. It's been a busy week. We're going to break open the bronze mold here shortly, and I will show you what we left off at last week with the STOKER bearings, bronze bearings for the STOKER engine Keith Rucker's restoring. Everything's out of whack, I know. I don't want to dump that mold until I'm done making molds because that sand is still hot. I ended up recasting that, as I said in last week's video, twice to get that one going. Now when I round the sides of these, I have started using just the corner because it puts so much pressure along the sidewalls. Now I don't do that for everything else. As I ram, I'm just going straight down, but there around the borders, around the side where I want it super tight, that angular wedge motion seems to make a lot of difference. I should have already had these done yesterday, but I had one mold, I had the bottom fall out on me, and it wasn't because of the mold. My chain fall had a catch in it, and it jerked, and when it did, it jolted the mold in midair and plop went to the bottom. Hear that? Sounds like I'm hitting the board itself, right? That's what I want. I may have to mold just a little more sand. I thought 100 pounds was enough. Like I said, humidity's pretty bad out here, so I'm sweeping all these surfaces, especially these little hollow cavities. I don't want any sand to stick to them. I'm also going to dust it. Now I'm not out to build this up heavily. I just want to get the very back of it covered, just to help with the finish. Now I'm going to go up a sieve. I'll cover everything with this layer. We're going to go up the sieve. Looks like we'll have enough. Fingers crossed I can hit this pouring basin. Just vibrating the match plate just a little bit. Not hitting it hard. Get rid of any sharp corners on these vent holes. Otherwise, we'll have subsurface cracks. Alright guys, this is for a customer. His name is Chris Volek, and he owns Elmwood Estates. It's a beautiful place up in Virginia, and anyway, I believe it's West Virginia. But anyway, this goes on a greenhouse, and I have made parts for him before, and he's in need of 2 of these. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and round 3 just in case we have any casting defects, and that's because he's under a huge time crunch waiting on these, and he's got a crew that's trying to work around my schedule, so I don't want to have anybody delayed if I can help it. I'm worried that I will probably have some issues right there, and you know what, I'm going to take care of that real quick. Okay, you see that hook? I went ahead and run a belt sander in between there and dressed that up, so we shouldn't have any catches on that. This was broken, so I had to do a repair on it right here. You can see the edge of it. I floated it the best I could with JB Weld and then sanded it back down to a flat plane the best I could. And you know what? I'm going to hit it right here just to take that hump out. Try to get it a little flatter. Well, I took the high spot down anyway. There's some areas that are below, but you know, it's going to be fine for what we're doing. If you can hear me over the rain and the fan, I'm going to just gate in here and here. Put my sprue right there. We might be casting a manhole cover in this pour. I'm not sure yet. This is from my buddy Jimmy Russell. He was down here in March, and we made up one for him. And I'm going to just if we have any leftover iron, may as well pour it in this mold. So like I said, the humidity is pretty high here. I'll back it up to here. We'll go ahead and put it right in the middle. We'll put the finest sand around the numbers, but I'm not going to worry about covering the rest of it with this grain size, because actually a larger grain size may help it. That's just around the detail where the letters are, the numbers. Talking about the rest of it, we had a pretty good time. We always do an event every year, and you know, if I was able to accommodate it, I'd invite all you guys to that, and eventually I will. But anyway, since Jimmy was coming, we wanted to make something special. But he didn't complain about it, but he wasn't that excited about eating the penguin lasagna Josie made. Do you know how hard it is to get penguin meat? They don't sell it. So when you buy a penguin, you got to buy the whole bird. And you ever tried to wring a chicken's neck? We ought to try wringing a penguin's neck. Ask Josie. Man, it was funny. It looked like a WWF out there. It took her a good half hour. And I was right over her going, 1, 2, snap. And then I, you know, of course, grabbed her arm, held her up. Yeah, we're eating penguin now. But yeah, he wasn't that impressed with it. So I ended up eating penguin and dumplings the rest of the month. Now, since that hook stands up quite a bit, hey, buddy, don't pee on anything. I'm going to kind of pile it up right here. You know what? I'm only going to make 2 of these. I feel good about them. As long as I don't miss the pouring basin, we'll be good. And I think I'm doing a lot better with that. So I'm winging it. And I'm going back to my original pouring basin size. And I hope that'll work. That ought to work. If you ram this sand too hard, it will start creating cracks in it. We don't want that, because cracks leave fissures. And I have, well, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to show you an example, but I got one in there. All it is it creates a crack in the sand mold, and then you'll have a vein of metal penetrate that crack, and it's external. I mean, it's fine, you just have to grind it off. It's better to have an external crack than an internal crack, by the way. I don't know why, but I have been getting injuries a lot lately on this arm. See it? Josie says I'm getting old man skin. She might be right. I always considered myself a spring chicken, a thick spring chicken. Seems like every day I start bleeding again from something. But I'll tell you a secret, one that I've learned around here. If you take green sand on a wound and just slap it on there, that'll fix it. It does every time for me. It's something to do with I think the bentonite absorbs the blood and helps it coagulate. And also the other elements that I have in this sand, like graphite, coal dust, and cat urine, I'm sure they all play a special effect to it. I thought about selling it as a healing powder, you know, that you can put on, but I'd have to make sure to state that I'm not liable in case their arm or something rights off. But I could say it's safe and effective. Now I'm going to have to pick this up with the filing board because I'm using a heavy cast iron pattern, which will fall out of there if I don't. I'm going to take my slick, slick it on down a little bit, firm it down a little bit more. I'm going to dimple this because I do not have registration pins on this mold. So all I'm doing here is keying the mold to where it'll match right up. Alright, to help with a cleaner parting line on this casting, I'm going to pull the casting before I finish ramming it in case I need to true up the parting line any better. That's what I like about these needle nose pliers. You can adjust them. Alright, you see it tore right here and right there. Bring that whole parting line down a little bit. You got this line, and there's a little tear out right here. Other than that, this looks pretty good. Yeah, looks real good. A little more. Alright. You know, I was telling you about these injuries I keep getting out here. This sure, I'm so glad I'm not working where I used to. Man, they would have went nuts over that. If you get a paper cut out there, Oh, they're going to do an investigation on it, and they're going to bubble wrap everything around there, including you. And then they would do the monthly safety report. And we would have had an excellent month with 0 accidents if Clark there hadn't bumped his hand on one of those chemical cabinets. You know, those red cabinets that that the flammable stuff goes in. Well, it just happened to have a little corner on it that I bumped with my back of my hand walking by it. It was placed right there by our door going into the CMM room. And I was, you know, it was bleeding. I just needed a Band-Aid on it. And I messed up and told them that. And, oh man, good grief. They put yellow caution tape around it. It really kind of ticked me off. Honestly, it did. but you know, they went crazy when it came to safety policies around there. And I won't elaborate on that. I'm just glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. Straight up. All right. So I won't do anything to the drag other than blow it off. Set it in place. Let me flip it on the edge, guys. Here. Here. And here. That's it. Well, guys, that's it for the first one. I'm not going to show the second one being molded. I still got one more mold I got to make after this, so we will probably do all the pours for these in the next video. Well, welcome back, Charlie. His owner called me a while ago wanting to know if I had seen him, and I come back out here, and sure enough, he's here. For those of you that do not know, this is a dog that I own half the time. He actually belongs to my neighbors, which are 1.1 mile south of me over in Smith County. And anyway, he goes back and forth from our house to his house. And he's a good boy. He's a really good dog, other than he won't stay home. So anyway, I take him for rides with Dollar, and they get along great. So I wanted to show you, yeah, excuse the clutter, guys, but this is a meldable 3D pattern, and we had two of them just in case one doesn't work. It's got dovetails in it. This is not going to be able to be round in a regular green sand mold, but I told the customer, Mr. Josh Herman, that we would try to do this and mold it all up and melt it out of the mold and then pour it. Now in the past, my green sand doesn't handle, it expands on me when I'm heating it up to melt materials out of it. So what we have done, we have resorted to using sodium silicate. So I got a little bit of an opening on both sides, a big opening on this side. So I'll be able to stand it up, melt all that out of there, and then put the other two halves on it. Now, I've got enough draft now to where I can get away with using green sand on this side and on the back side. So that's probably how I'm going to finish it out. It's just going to be a sodium silicate core in between two green sand flasks. But we'll come back to this later. I just rammed it up and I gassed it the best I could, but I'm going to let it just set and air dry, and we'll come back to this. Well, Charlie and I are going to go break that mold open. I forgot. I promised y'all I was going to do that. Yep. I almost forgot. But I did promise I was going to break this open, and we're going to see the results for the end of this video. Yep. All right. All right. Very happy with that. No pits. And I'll tell you what that is right there. That's Babbitt. That material I used did have a deposit of Babbitt in it, but it's not in the material. It went to the very bottom of the mold. That's going to be machined off anyway. Yep. Very happy with that, because that's the third attempt we had to make to get that last one poured. For those who have been asking about the Windy Hill Foundry hats, these are now available on my website, windyhillfoundry.com, under stores, or you can click on the above link. These are on the pricey side, but keep in mind the shipping is included. Have a good day.